Okay, everybody, I know you've been hearing all about the Barbeau basket, or maybe you haven't. So what it is, it's a famous French astrologer who was a very serious astrologer who worked for many, many years, 60, 70 years as an astrologer, made a number of predictions, world predictions that came true. He accurately predicted COVID in 2011. He died in 2019, so he didn't see it. He accurately predicted the fall of the Berlin Wall and the fall of the Russian Empire. And so he picked out this aspect, which is developing over a number of days, actually. It's being called the Barbeau basket, and it is a rare, rare, rare alignment. There have been planets lined up in this type of configuration before, but not quite exactly like this, which is saying a lot. So you can see here the outer planets here, and they're very personal planets too, starting at the Uranus at 4 degrees of Gemini. You can see they're making this, see the blue lines here, this is what they're talking about is the basket, right? That basket aspect there. So he talked about these 3 planets here, Uranus in Gemini, which is all about technology, AI, cryptocurrency, radical protests, social structure, and also divisive thinking. So a lot of sort of back and forth information marketing. So all of that changing with AI, with the digital age, that's already kind of happening here. And it is sextiling at 60 degrees apart from Neptune retrograde in Aries at 4 degrees. So Neptune in Aries is all about new religion, new dreams, new addictions, new types of creative energy, new types of creative spirituality. It's about the individual creating their own movies, their own Hollywood, their own anything, because it's true. Any kid sitting in their basement can create some big Hollywood blockbuster these days, and it's already happening with YouTubers making blockbuster movies. So, you know, imagine it's just going to exponentially get more and more. Or new kinds of music, like look at Angie and Poitras. That's a whole new kind of microtonal music, which has been around, but they're putting it together in a new way. Now, Pluto at 4 degrees of Aquarius, Pluto's also retrograde there. So Pluto is the planet of soul wealth, of the plutocrats, of power, control, secret, sex, money, death, traditionally. And wherever Pluto is, it's going to destroy whatever sign it's passing through. Because note, when Pluto entered Capricorn in 2008, it was literally days, you know, the stock market crashed, and you know, the whole mortgage, subprime mortgage thing crashed. There was also a Jupiter-Pluto conjunction at that time. And then the planet Jupiter is now just almost moving in. It's almost at 4 degrees. It'll do that in the next few days. But you can see they're at opposition. Now, this Barbeau's basket, which is just really those 3 planets making this little triple sextile here, 1, 2, 3. And then when Jupiter enters here, it makes a trine. Neptune and Jupiter are trining each other. Jupiter's the faster moving planet. And then that Jupiter-Pluto opposition, which is really the most dynamic thing, because sextiles and trines are nice, light, easy aspects, but they don't make things really happen. They're supportive, and support is nice, but it's really a conjunction, a square, or an opposition that make things happen in astrology. And actually, you want to see lots of squares, conjunction, and oppositions in your natal chart, because I know from experience, if you have too many sextiles and trines in your chart, you're just lazy, and you don't want to get off your ass and do anything, so you expect everything to come to you. So I think that the hype here about the Barbeau basket, he's been misquoted. What he really did was create a kind of index, like a barometer of the planets over many, many years. And he's just saying that this wonderful configuration at 4 degrees is very supportive, just that the outer planets do not align like this, so it is very rare. I'm going, well, why wasn't anybody talking about this in the last while? It's just being really hyped up like most things are. So as you can see, this actually started coming into configuration. And again, this is just the start. There's going to be another one in 2027. Neptune and Pluto have been in a long series of sextiles for over 100 years, actually. And so, you know, that's a long-term thing. Baby boomers were born with that. You know, I can see it as a changeover of power as the baby boomers, you know, start to pass on. But also these outer planets, Uranus and Pluto, when they came together in the 60s at 17, 18 degrees of Virgo, that initiated the whole, you know, cultural revolution that the Beatles spearheaded. The first time Uranus and Pluto came together at 17, 18 Virgo was actually on October the 9th, 1965, which was John Lennon's 25th birthday. And the Beatles, John Lennon, totally spearheaded that whole cultural. They were like the archetypal living gods of that aspect. You know, if you go see the Odyssey, you'll see how the gods were really very involved in people's lives. And that's what the planets are. You know, Jupiter is Zeus. You know, Pluto is Hades. So all of the planets, Saturn is Kronos. I mean, they give them different names, Roman, Greek. Neptune, the god of the oceans. Uranus, the original Titan god of the sky, who married Gaia, the earth. So the gods are at work here still. They haven't stopped. The gods never stop working. So on the 15th, the beginning of this aspect started to come in with Uranus sextiling Neptune. Okay, so we're kind of seeing a reawakening of that 60s energy, but in a new configuration. And now today, the next energy that's coming in is when Uranus will trine Pluto, and that happens on the 17th at 9:45 p.m. So I'm going to just move this forward here. Where are we here? I wanted to move it forward by a day. There we go. So there we go there. There it is. Oops, it jumped a bit. There we go there, having that one. That's on the 18th there. You can see, and then it comes in, you know, astrologers are very nerdy here. They want things to be exact aspects. So on the 19th here, Uranus trines Pluto actually on the 18th at 12:45 a.m. That's Eastern Daylight Time. And then there's a minor aspect there. You know, the other planets are still doing their thing too. And there's fixed stars, which I'm not really mentioning, but I will do more on that. And then on the 20th, now most people are considering this is when this actually starts, Jupiter trines Neptune at 3:23 a.m. Now this is set for Greenwich Mean Time, I also have to say. So 3:23 a.m. you can see at that point Jupiter trine Neptune. See, Jupiter hits that 4-degree point there, trining Neptune. Okay. Note that also because Pluto is retrograde and Neptune is retrograde and Saturn's actually stationary, about to go retrograde, that things are not going to pop and change right away. Okay. Jupiter sextiles Uranus at 7:11 a.m. on the 21st. Again, so these aspects start to come in a bit tighter there, okay, as we're going along. The Sun enters Leo on the 22nd, so we're going to get ready for that, amping up. Mercury is retrograde, so that's going to hold back. So Mercury turns direct July 23rd at 6:58 p.m. That's Eastern Daylight Time. And then Neptune sextiles Pluto on the 24th. So this is the 21st. This is the 22nd, this is the 23rd, here's the 24th, and we can see Neptune sextiling Pluto on the 24th at 10:49 p.m., again, Eastern Daylight Time, and on the 25th at 1:49 a.m., Neptune sextile Pluto. Again, this is a long-standing configuration. It'll still continue. And then on the 26th, Saturn turns retrograde at 3:58 p.m., that just also brings a kind of stationary reality check there. And then at night, the Sun opposes Pluto. Now that's a big one. That is, an opposition is always tense. That's 11:55 p.m. on the 26th. I'm going to move up